I wanted to share an experience that I had in 2014 when I was pulled out of my body and I experienced what it was like to be completely separated. And I was energy, I was consciousness. So in 2014, I was in bed and I was having a really incredible pain in my stomach, and I felt like a bulge going through, and it was like moving around, and I remember putting my hand on it, and it felt like a fist was just starting to circle into my stomach. So in this moment I immediately felt panic, scared. It was in the middle of the night and I was like, okay, I need to call 911. Right away I went and I started to pray. And as soon as I started to pray, it was as if I had prayed, like I was like, okay, something's wrong, God, I need your help. A presence, a really big presence, came up beside me, and I didn't see it. It was pitch black in my room. And the immediate fear I felt of like, oh, this presence, I was completely, fully taken already out of my body. I hovered above the body as an energy, and in this energy, I was completely unattached from the human emotions. There was no fear, there was no sadness, there was no angst, there was no attachment. I didn't miss anybody. There was none of that because it was the highest vibrational form I've ever felt. It was completely. I just remember feeling like, oh my God, thank you. I was just like, it was like a heavenly massage of just a loud noise. The noise that I was hearing was energy. It was incredible. And again, I wasn't confined to my body. I wasn't confined to the space of my body. I had this awareness of that I was everything. And in this vastness and this bigness of just this like, oh, I can see why people don't want to come back into this body. This body's so limited. It has so much emotion and sadness and depressions and anxieties, and we're attached to these everything in this body, and to be out of it was like, holy fuck, this is freedom. And it was so amazing. I just stayed in this presence of what I was, and I became completely aware that life, the craziest thing about life is that it's not who we really are. Being human is really just an experience. Because as soon as I started to think about, I wanted to be in the body to experience children. I wanted to know what it was like to have kids. As soon as that experience came into that awareness, that in that energy that I was, that big vibration of energy just started to kind of dumb down again, and it just lowered me back into my body. It couldn't be as vast anymore, because in that vastness, you wouldn't be able to be a human being. You wouldn't be able to, because it had no attachment, it had no feelings, it had no emotions. It was like, it was so good. It needed to be dumbed down to experience pain and attachment and our ego and everything that drives us as a human being. Because really, when I was up there, none of being human mattered. None of the emotional attachments of making sure we're thriving or surviving, it didn't exist. It does not exist in that form that I was in. It didn't exist. It only exists here as this human. And I got a quick glance of what it really felt like to be home. And that was in that vastness that I was. It was in this big energy. It was not in a human body. And I think that's why we struggle with anxiety, depression, and all this stuff, because our spirit knows. And it's trying to connect us often back into that space. So because we're still in a human body experiencing our humanness, I think learning how to connect with that space within us more often can help bring more peace into this human experience, more light, more love, for ourselves and for others.